I feel like this is the weirdest angle for some reason, but I don't know how to fix it. Like, you guys are staring at majority ceiling. It's fine, whatever. Also, am I late to this book tag? I feel like I'm late to this book tag. I feel like I should have started this in like November or something because there's an autumnal question in here. It's fully winter out there right now. Brown is covered in like 10 inches of snow or something. Also, it's like -20. Okay, so this is the end of the year book tag. It's not like the one where it asks what's the best book you read this year and what's the worst book you read this year. It's more like a bunch of questions that you answer near the end of the year, like what books do you want to read before the year ends sort of thing. Yeah, I saw this going around, so I just decided to do it. But I feel like I'm really late because it's like December 19th right now. I'm hoping I can edit this and post it by tomorrow or maybe the day after tomorrow. And then I have another video I kind of want to film after this. I don't know, it depends on how I'm feeling after I film this. I have a lot of time now. I just finished my finals. Now I kind of just want to read and relax. I don't know, these types of videos that have like deadlines, I guess, I don't really know how to feel about them. This is kind of the reason why I don't film like monthly wrap-ups and stuff, because I don't like having the feeling of I need to post this before this date sort of thing. But I also kind of like giving you guys like these yearly updates sort of thing, so then I could like tell you what I've been up to for the past year. Even though you already know, I post videos about that all the time. I don't really know. I like just doing these end of the year videos instead of like the monthly wrap-up things. I don't know, it just makes more sense in my head. Stresses me out a bit less. Anyways, there's 6 questions in this book tag. One of them I kind of changed because it's not fall anymore, it's winter, like I said. But anyways, shall we get started? So the first question is, are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? There's 3 books. The first one is Wolf Song by TJ Klune. I started reading this when I was like in the middle of a reading slump. Also, I don't read a lot of like age gap romances, I guess, so I kind of need to get used to it. It's been a while since I've read a TJ Klune book. I like his writing though, but I think this is one of his backlist books. Also, for some reason when I'm in the middle of reading slumps, I feel like reading fantasy, which probably isn't a good idea because fantasy is all like complex and stuff with its world building. So I think that's why I might have stopped in the middle. I think I stopped around like maybe around page 200 or 150 or something like that. I was enjoying this book and I did like the couple. I liked how slow burn it was. We went through like 16 or something all the way to when he was 23. Also, I'm just not used to books with werewolves in it. This is the first time, surprisingly, that I'm reading a book with werewolves in it. I'm also just not used to the Omegaverse. I'm not really sure how that works. I've only seen like a few things about it. I will finish this book eventually though. It was just I was reading this during a reading slump, so it was not good timing. Next one we have is Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. This one I was also reading during that specific reading slump. That reading slump lasted for like 3 weeks for me or something. It was crazy. It almost lasted for an entire month. I love C.G. Drews books. I've read like 2 of them, I think, and I rated both of them a 5 stars. I've been anticipating this book for a while and I pre-ordered it like way in advance and then I got it in, and I guess I just wasn't in the mood to read it. I really don't know what was going on there. I think I stopped at like page 50. It was really interesting. It was like this kind of dark academia setting and there was like this creepy forest. I think it's like a horror fantasy YA sort of book. Also, I think this is C.G. Drew's first time like branching out into a different genre. So again, I was really looking forward to that, and then for some reason I just stopped. I can't remember why, but I'm like 99% sure it was because of my reading slump. Next one we have is The False Prince by Jennifer A. Nielsen. This one's a middle grade book. I heard really good things about this one. Everyone kept telling me that this was such a good series to get into. This one I just fully wasn't in the mood to read. I thought for an entire week that I was in the mood to read this, and then I got like 5 pages in, put it down, and just never picked it back up again. Obviously, I'll give it another chance. I'm just like that with a lot of books if I don't feel like reading them. Like fully when I start a new book, I go through like 5 other books, read the first 5 pages, and if I don't feel like reading it, I put it down and then think about reading it another time. I also discovered this year that when I'm in reading slumps, I really have trouble fully finishing a book for some reason. Like I can read like halfway through a book, but then if I don't feel like reading it, I put it back down. I fully didn't realize it before, and I was just thinking that entire time, what is wrong with me and why can I not finish a book? I don't know if this is just a recent thing or if I've always done this, but yeah, that was just a weird few weeks that I just kept picking up books and then putting it down when I got like halfway. Okay, next question is, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? Again, it's fully not fall out there anymore. It's winter. There's like 10 inches of snow. It's -20. I'm changing it to, do you have a winter book? So I have 2 on here that I'm hoping to read, but if I don't, I'll just read them next year. The first one is Love Light Farms by B.K. Borison. This is like the Christmas book that I see most people talking about. I hear it's like one of the only good Christmas books that are out there sort of thing, because I'm not the biggest fan of like Christmas movies, so I kind of assumed that I wouldn't be a big fan of like Christmas books, but then I wanted to give at least one a try, and it was this one in particular because apparently this is like a seasonal standalone serial series. Each book in this series is standalone, but it's like for particular seasons, so like winter, spring, summer, fall. And this one's for Christmas obviously, so winter, which is why why I wanted to read it. I want a book to read each season. Next one is Make My Wish Come True by Rachel Lippincott and Alison Derrick. I loved Rachel Lippincott and Alison Derrick's She Gets the Girl book. I was absolutely obsessed with that. I read it over and over again for like 2 weeks, I think. So when I heard they were releasing another book together, I got so excited. And especially since it was a Christmas book, I'm just like, oh my god, this is my chance to get into Christmas books. But for some reason this year, I think I'm just out of the Christmas mood. Just because of this one video I filmed. It took me like 3 tries. That video was such a pain that I just got out of the Christmas mood. So now I don't know if I'm gonna read these 2 books. I really wanted to this year, but it might have to be next year for all I know, because again, it's December 19th. I only have 6 days until Christmas. After Christmas, it feels like there's really no point in reading these books, so maybe next year, hopefully. It's gonna be like in my head next year. Like I have to read these books in November so then I can get this video ready for December. Okay, and then the final book for this question is literally not a Christmas book whatsoever. It's just a book I'm currently reading right now. It's Heaven Official's Blessing Book 2 by Mo Shang Tongshu. I'm so sorry if I butchered that name. I'm like half Chinese. I don't speak Chinese whatsoever. This is literally my latest obsession, and I'm not even kidding you. This series was the best thing to happen to me in so long. This was the thing that got me out of my reading slump actually. 90 or 100 pages into the second book right now, and I'm loving it. It's just kind of one of those series where it's just like I don't think about when I have to finish the book. I'm just going at my own pace, and I'm absolutely loving every single second of it. And there's 8 books in this series, which I'm so excited for. Like this romance is so slow burn and also subplot. At least it was subplot in the first book. I don't know about the other books, but I absolutely love the first book for like setting up their relationship. The next question is there a new release you're still waiting for? The first one is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. I believe they announced this book like a month ago, and I love V.E. Schwab's books so much. I don't think I've rated any of their books below 4 stars, which is obviously really good. Like you want to find like one of those auto-buy authors. So when they announced this book, I'm just like, oh my god, when the hell is this releasing? And I think it's a standalone. I don't really know what it's about. I think it's fantasy, obviously, because V.E. Schwab mostly specializes in fantasy. The title Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil kind of give me like graveyard vibes, I guess. Next one is the All for the Game series book 5 by Nora Sakovic. So I still haven't read the 4th book, but when I found out there was a book 5, I'm just like, oh my god, now I can read the 4th book. Because the reason I've been avoiding the 4th book was because I didn't want the entire series to end, but then I found out the 5th book was coming out, and I'm just like, oh my god, yes, now I have something to look forward to in this series after reading the 4th book. Next one we have is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I believe Abby Jimenez also announced this book a couple months ago maybe. This cover is so pretty though. Also, I love the fact that every single Abby Jimenez love interest has a dog. Like every single man in her books has a dog, and I absolutely love it so much because the dogs are like so cute. Abby Jimenez's writing is so easy to read. She's like one of the few romance authors I actually love. Next one we have is Keeper of the Lost Cities book 10 by Shannon Messenger. So Shannon Messenger hasn't actually announced when this will release. I'm really hoping it's this year though, because book 9.5 came out in November. 9.5, like can you believe that? I didn't even know there was such a thing as 9.5 until Shannon Messenger released it. I actually bought it the other day. I can't wait to read it. But I also just want to know when the series is ending, because I'm hoping book 10 will be the last one, but I also don't want the series to end, if you know what I mean. Because I've been reading the series since grade 7. So it's like my childhood. It's like one of my favorite series of all time because of the slow burn romance in here between like Keith and Sophie. But it's also just like I want to know what the ending is. Like I'm so curious, and I'm pretty sure most of the fandom is too. Because it's just like, how are you going to end like such a long ongoing series? I'm just hoping it's good. I'm just hoping the book is at least like, I don't know, maybe like this big. It better be the best ending to a series of all time, because if it's not, I'll be mad. Next question is, what are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? This was kind of hard for me to narrow down. So the first one would be The Sunshine Court by Nora Sakovic, which is the 4th book in the All for the Game series. Again, I've been avoiding this one because I was afraid the series was gonna end, and then she announced book 5, and I'm just like, oh my god, thank you so much. Now I don't have to avoid this book, like my life depends on it. Next one is Heaven Official's Blessing book 2 by Mo Shang Tongshu. Again, it's the one I'm currently reading. Honestly, this is probably the series that I'm gonna end the year with, sort of thing. Like I'm gonna continue reading the series until next year. The other 2 books under this question right here, don't know if they apply very much. But again, the series is like my current obsession right now. Like I'm absolutely in love with it. I'm absolutely in love with the couple, and I love like the writing style for some reason. Final book under this question is Unraveled book 9.5 in the Keeper of the Lost City series by Shannon Messenger. This book is in one of my favorite characters' perspective. It's him in like the human world, because there's like 2 worlds in this book. I just really hope it's Keith thinking about Sophie the entire time and wanting to return to her and wanting to reunite with her. That's literally all I'm hoping for. Okay, next question is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite of the year? Book I'm currently reading, it's Heaven Official's Blessing book 2 by Mo Shang Tongshu. So I absolutely love the first book. So the reason why I put the second book under this question was because if I like the second book even more than the first book, that'll shock me. Like I know I'm gonna at least like it equally as much, but if I like it even more, that'd be even better. The romance is between like this outcast prince from like this god world, and then from the ghost city, his love interest is kind of the leader there. I didn't explain like any of these books to you guys. I'm just explaining why they belong in these questions. Do people normally really explain what the books are about in book tags. I can't really remember. I haven't done one in so long. And I literally just watched a million other people's book tags, so I don't know why I can't remember this. Anyways, next book in this question is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. So if I do get around to this book this year, which I probably won't if I'm being honest because it's like a brick, I have a feeling I'm gonna like it, but also at the same time my expectations are set so high because of what people have been telling me. Like that book is so thick, it better be good, but it's also just like I'm kind of scared to read it because people say it's like one of their favorite series of all time, so I'm hoping it'll be one of my favorite series of all time. I guess it wouldn't shock me if I liked this. It would shock me if it met my extremely high expectations. Next question is, have you already started making reading plans for 2025? So kind of not really. I had to really think about it for this question. So I also wanted to say like my non-book related goals for 2025 and get better grades and stress myself out less because I'm really bad at studying. For those of you who are new, I'm in my second year of undergrad. I think hopefully maybe I'm gonna try to study a bit more next year. Probably not, but I'm at least gonna try. Maybe a bit, who knows. Okay, book related goals for 2025 though. The first one is read the Stormlight Archive series by Brandon Sanderson, which is The Way of Kings that I was talking about before. It's been a while since I read a Brandon Sanderson book other than his novellas from the Skyward series. I mean like fully adult fantasy books that I haven't read in a while. The last one I read by him was Mistborn. I still need to read the second book in that series too. Maybe that should also be one of my goals. My main goal for 2025 when it comes to Brandon Sanderson books is read The Way of Kings and maybe the whole Stormlight Archives because I know the newest book just came out. I think it was book 5 or book 4 or something like that. I also just want to know what the hype is about. Like I feel so left out. I feel the FOMO when it comes to this series because it's so highly spoken of that I feel like I just have to read it. Also, I became like a really big Brandon Sanderson fan in like high school, mainly like his YA books. I sort of dabbled with his adult fantasy books in grade 12, but I think my puny grade 12 brain became exhausted after just one book. So I haven't read any of his other adult fantasy books since, but I'm hoping to get into more of them next year. Next goal for 2025 is read Blood Marked by Tracy Dion because I've had that book on my shelf for what feels like forever. She announced the third book, which I'm really excited for. And I love the first book, so I don't know why I haven't read the second book. I also want to know how the love triangle ends up because there was one guy I was rooting for. If you've read Legendborn by Tracy Dion, I think you probably know which one I'm rooting for if you know me. I feel like Legendborn was also like one of the few books that I actually liked the love triangle. Like I loved both the main love interests. Like honestly, I wouldn't mind if she ended up with either, but there is one specific one I am rooting for. Next goal we have is find more mystery books I like because I got into the Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes this year. I also read None Shall Sleep by Ellie Marney. Love that one. Love both of those series. Still need to read the second book in None Shall Sleep. Might do that next year. I have been thinking about that book for a while because of the way it ended and also the slow burn subplot romance in that book. Slightly wasn't expecting it, but also I got really excited when it like finally appeared at the end of the book because the whole time I was reading None Shall Sleep, I was just like, is this gonna be a thing or is it not gonna be a thing? And then when it appeared at the end of the book, I'm just like, oh my god, it's gonna be a thing. I have to read the second book now. So yeah, definitely gonna do that next year, but also I want to find more mystery books and more mystery series that I like because I feel like they're so fun. I love guessing in mystery books. Also, I've just been branching out into different genres this year. I feel like I sort of got into historical fiction, I got into mystery, I very much got into romance this year. Like I wasn't very much of a big romance reader before. I don't think I consider myself to be a big romance reader still, but I do think I heavily got into the genre this year. Next goal for 2025 is find books hardly anyone has heard of and read them and hopefully like them because I don't know, there's just something about finding a book that no one has heard of and you end up falling in love with that hits different, you know? And then you can recommend it to other people and be like, guys, I found this book, you should read it. Because I feel like it's the same like popular books sort of circulating throughout the internet. Not that that's a bad thing, but I also just feel like there's so many other books out there that we've never heard of that we should give a try sort of thing. So that's kind of what I want to try to do in like 2025. Next goal is read another 50 books. I did reach my goal this year, which I was so happy about. I don't think I've ever read this many books in my life, and I don't think I'm going to change my reading goal for next year. I'm going to set it to 50 books again because I feel like that's a reasonable amount. Well, a reasonable amount for people who read as much as the people on booktube do, but I think it's like a reasonable number for me. And then finally, the last goal for 2025 is make more booktube videos because I like it and I'm having fun. It's obviously like a simple one, but it's just like I really do want to keep this going because in the past I've started things and I've gotten tired of them. This is the first time I've started like a project, I guess, and it's lasted this long. So I have a feeling this will go on for a while, hopefully. But anyways, that's all the questions for today's video. And I don't know, leave down in the comments if you guys have any reading plans for 2025 because honestly, I had kind of a bit of trouble thinking of plans for this one. Like, I don't know. I don't think that far ahead if I'm being honest. So leave down in the comments if you guys have like thought of anything you want to do next year or like read next year. But yeah, I'm gonna end the video here. I hope you guys enjoyed and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!